Do you ever wonder why some people spend half an hour in the gym, others spend 3 hours? Today's episode is gonna be about the spectrum of purpose. So I'm gonna put all those people that spend time in the gym, from people that spend 30 minutes to people that spend 3 hours. What is the purpose of spending X amount of time in the gym, and how to be more efficient, and how to clarify what are our goals, and accordingly how much time we should spend in the gym. So there's no good or bad in this video. There's only this judgment of, are we training to preserve life at one end of the spectrum, or are we training to express life at the other end of the spectrum? Friends, before we dig in, I want you to recognize what is your hurdle that you're trying to overcome in the gym. Are you trying to lose weight? Are you trying to build muscles? Are you trying to prepare for some kind of a game or competition? Do you enjoy training so much that it became part of your life, so you like to spend more time at the gym talking to like-minded people? This is what I want you to recognize first. So what is your hurdle that you are trying to overcome? This is the most important question you should ask yourself, because otherwise, is efficiency going to be part of what you do in the gym? So do you want to do what you have to do in the least amount of time in the most efficient way? Or do you enjoy trying new things and exploring new things and spending more time maybe thinking about training and thinking about the gym and sharing your ideas with other people? So this is the spectrum that I talked about in the beginning of this video, and I'm gonna keep going using this spectrum from now on. So first, something I learned in my time in the gym is to ask why. So before judging if someone is doing a right exercise or wrong exercise, ask why. Ask them if they have a specific purpose for doing the exercise that I might find that is not done correctly, but they might have a purpose for it. So I might end up learning something new. So always ask why the person is doing the exercise, even if you find it to be completely bizarre and strange and you've never seen it before. Unless they're almost killing themselves, then you can interfere and stop them. But for example, one of the most important examples that I think can illustrate what I'm talking about here is the elastic band training. So you see a lot of mainly women doing a lot of banded training. So hip thrusts, side walks, kickbacks. Sometimes for half an hour, 45 minutes, I observe these people and I see that they're doing different variations of kickbacks and hip thrusts for half an hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. And I always wonder, the direct judgment, the knee-jerk reaction that I have is that this is something that is done, this is something not efficient. So they're wasting their time. But I'm gonna assume that they understand what they're doing because they continuously repeat it week after week after week. But in my opinion, if the purpose of using those elastic bands, for example, to stay in that example, is to feel the burn in your glutes and chase a nice pump that is coming from the blood flow directed towards your glutes, if this is your purpose, then kudos to you, do that. If you want to grow your glutes, for example, if you want to progress, get stronger, build bigger, more defined, more beautiful glutes, I assume this will be the purpose of doing those exercises, you better do something else that is of greater value. So in this elastic band example, you should ask yourself, what is your goal? If your goal is strength, to build strength, does this load challenge you enough? This is the first question. If your goal is growth, is there sufficient tension and progression? So can you see yourself progressing in those banded exercises? If the goal is function, does this movement translate into anything else beside the actual movement? Those are the questions you should ask yourself, you banded exercise chasing person. Why are you doing these exercises? So I will share with you on the screen a nice table where the tension that is coming from various exercises on the glutes and the hypertrophy and load capacity that these exercises bring. So let's start. You have glute activation from banded kickbacks, low to moderate glute activation, capacity to load is low, hypertrophy potential is low. So most of the time, banded exercises are used to warm up and to activate the targeted muscles. For example, if we move to weighted hip thrusts, okay, or hip thrust, the machine or the bar or whatever kind of hip thrust where you can add some weight. The glute max activation is very high. The load capacity is high as well because you can increase the load, and the hypertrophy potential is very high. Okay, so this is one of those exercises that you can actually build your glutes. Now the squat, between brackets deep, because a deep squat has very high glute activation, or actually high, so less high than the weighted hip thrusts. You have the load capacity, which is high, and the hypertrophy potential, which is also high. Now moving to the split squats and the step ups, so or a glute activation high, load capacity moderate to high, and then hypertrophy potential high. So if you think about all these exercises, you have a better chance of growing your glutes and progressing and getting stronger and saving time and not wasting your time when you do all these exercises. But again, if your purpose of doing banded exercises is to feel the burn and chase the pump, and day after day after day feel that your butt is pumped, do it. This is something that you should be doing, okay? The first wealth is health. Ralph Waldo Emerson. This is the quote that depicts the people and depicts the atmosphere that I want to start with from this side of the spectrum. So the beginning of the spectrum is called survival. You train for health, for longevity, for basic strength. You are building a foundation, and on this foundation you will be able to do whatever you want to do later in your training. So before you can draw a sophisticated plan, before you can crush any PRs, before you can compete, before you can participate in any serious thing in physical activity, you have to have a solid foundation. And this is on this foundation you build your later goals. On this part of training for survival, for basic strength, you should be efficient. So you should learn how to do the form of the exercise properly. You should spend less time in the gym. You should be very clear on what you want to do. So you should go in the gym. These people that fall in this category should train around 30 minutes to 1 hour. Okay, so this is very straightforward. This is very basic, and this is how you build strength. This is the beginning of the spectrum. Now, if we move further towards the middle of this spectrum, I'm going to put a point in the middle of the spectrum and call it performance. So people that fall on the spectrum in the middle, those people are training for measurable progress. So I will say this quote that will kind of explain the mood of this point on the spectrum. That which is measured improves. That which is measured and reported improves exponentially. Carl Pearson. So people that want to lose 5 kilos of fat, people that want to gain X amount of muscles, people that want to be able to jump X height or run fast in for some kind of competition or something like that, those people, they want to measure, and they should measure, and they should report. And these people have a very clear idea on how much time you should spend in the gym, because everything is measured, even their rest. They get in, they do their training, they report, they get out. This is the middle of the spectrum. Those people also should train, depends on the sport, but should train with a clear goal in their mind. Now, if we move further away from the middle, the center of the spectrum, to the extent, to the extreme end of that spectrum, we bump into a category of people that train longer, that spend more time in the gym. They enjoy speaking and interacting with like-minded people that also spend a long time in the gym. Those are the people who train for self-actualization. Okay, there's a nice also quote that kind of explains the feel of this part of the spectrum from Martha Graham. The body is your instrument in the dance of life. The better you understand it, the more beautiful the performance. So those people enjoy training. They spend too much time. It's part of their life. It's more than a habit. They cannot live without it anymore. So those people, you see them spending a lot of time in the gym and precisely not being very efficient. But efficiency is not what those people are aiming for. Those people are aiming for the atmosphere that's in the gym, the people that are there. They share ideas. A lot of them are professionals. Some of them are just amateurs, but also it's so built into them that they feel at home in the gym. Let me share with you this example where I make a comparison between the gym and a library. So imagine you're in a library now, and imagine we don't have internet yet, okay? Bear with me for a bit. So this spectrum of purpose, in the library, you have people that decide that they want to learn more. They want to have more knowledge about something or about just many things. So they say, okay, where can I get more information about geography, about history? Oh, it's in the library. So they go in the library, they open some books, they flip through some books, they read some stuff, not in a very obsessive way, but they just want to broaden their horizon. They spend enough time, not too much time, not too little time, and then they leave. Now, if you go towards the middle of the spectrum where people that are actually have a specific goal in mind, such as students, for example. Students, they want to research something. They go directly to the aisle where the subject that they are researching, they can read about in that aisle. So they go pick up the book, do their thing. When the research is done, bam, they're gone. Those are people that have specific goal in mind. On the end of that spectrum, you have people that enjoy being in a library. They enjoy the atmosphere, they enjoy the calm, the silence, they enjoy being around books. The energy in the area and the space is what draws them, not the efficiency. Okay, so those are the people who fall at the end of that spectrum. Those are the people who spend too much time in the gym. Also, they spend too much time in the library. The different kind of people, of course, but they are the same category of people. Those are not looking for efficiency. They're looking for belonging. They enjoy the space. They enjoy the energy, and therefore they don't care actually about being efficient. Their efficiency is they're enjoying their time in the gym. So this is the example that I wanted to share with you to try to explain more my idea about the spectrum of purpose. So without judging why people spend X amount of time in the gym, you should know your why. So understand what are you trying to achieve in the gym, and accordingly draw a plan. If you're trying to lose a specific amount of weight, that's your goal. You need to measure it. If you're just starting, you should have something general. So you shouldn't obsess about goals, but you should be consistent. You should be efficient. That's the most important part. And if you're someone who's more mature, if you have been doing this for a long time and you enjoy a specific type of people that you can only find in the gym, you enjoy talking about supplements and talking about muscles and just being around people that share the same interest as you do, kudos to you. You can spend as much time as you want in the gym. And I hope you liked the video. Until next time.